You don't think I can do it? Sure, the series spans almost 30 years of bizarre insanity, and the nature of the show itself might take a 10-page essay to explain alone, but I find the key to keeping something short, sweet, and to the point is simply to take out all the extraneous details or anything that might constitute a spoiler. So, sit back, everyone, and enjoy. Here's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, seriously abridged, as I try to summarize the whole story in 5 minutes or less. Starting now in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine. Once upon a time in Victorian-era England, there was this naive child named Jonathan Joestar, JoJo 1.0 if you will. One day, this other guy, Dio Brando, was adopted into his family, and Jonathan finds out exactly how cruel life can be. As the clash between the two of them comes to a head, JoJo is assisted by REO Speedwagon and Led Zeppelin in a good versus evil fight between vampires and the zombie-slaying powers of Sunny D. Enter the Joseph Joestar. 50 years later, World War II is getting on, and while some Nazi crew was looking for a lost ark in Egypt, some other genius started pulling stupid stunts to endanger humanity in a completely different way. Jonathan's grandson winds up using the same fancy sun powers to battle the Aztec gods of fitness, Santana, Wham, Cars, and AC/DC. Speaking of Egypt, in another 50 years, the Joestar name turns to Cujo, and Joseph teams up with a third Jojo, his grandson, Jotaro, to go around the world on an anticlimactic sightseeing trip to save Jotaro's mother, Holly. We throw special sunny powers out the window in exchange for stand-by-me's that personify a person's soul. They team up with Japanese high school student B, Kakyoin, Mohammed Paula Abdul, Jean-Pierre Inigo Montoya Polnareff, and another guy to make up the Stardust Crusaders to defeat Dio. That's Dio spelled in all caps and not Dio Brando from Part 1 Phantom Blood. Yes, there is a difference. When that's over, the next time skip only covers another 12 years, and that leads into Part 4, where we ditch the JoJo title altogether and meet Josuke Higashikata. I say that, but he's technically still the series' Part 4 JoJo, though no one actually calls him that. We get to visit the fictional town of Doing. If zombies, vampires, and psychic powers weren't bizarre enough for you, just wait till you meet the Invisible Baby, an alien and a cat plant. I mean, that's all and good, but the main story is watching the new cast fight a domestic terrorist/serial killer named... Ouch. Okay, on to Part 5 it is. Meet Hellspawn Blonde Jojo A, Giorno Giovanna. So named because he's in Italy, and apparently they don't have a J in the Italian alphabet. Pronunciation aside, this kid wants to be the biggest gang star in the country, and uses his somewhat skewed moral compass to do it, along with his stand and a ragtag group of stand-using specialists. For all its time, there's a lot of stuff that this story doesn't actually cover or have happen. But this is JoJo, so trust me, it just works. Back to the more linear story, we come to Jotaro's daughter. I'm just going to say it now. Jotaro is not a very good dad, and Jolin starts out in jail, and stays there for the most of Part 6, which is why it's called Stone Ocean. The upside is, Jolin manages to make a couple of butt-kicking female friends, and picks up a couple of stalkers, while the whole world goes to hell, or heaven in a handbasket. You following me so far? Well, forget everything I just told you, because now we go into alternate timelines. Back in 1888, the Star-Spangled Gimp, Johnny Joestar, plays second fiddle to J-Lo Zeppeli in the first half of a cross-country horse race called the Steel Ball Run, only to usurp the position when the manga made its transition to monthly sign-in Ultra Jump magazine. Oh, did I mention that Dio was back? Or, well, Diego Brando, who is essentially Dio, but a better-written character all around. By this point, I'd want to think that Araki was getting better at writing in general. The final part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as it is right now, isn't even complete, so all I have to say about it is that the resident JoJo of the series, Gappy, has been called Josuke because he's an amnesiac, and we have yet to really discover where the story in this part is going, other than the appearance of some magic rocks, and us apprehensively waiting to see which of his allies dies first. Wait, didn't I mention that people die in JoJo? Oh well, now you know. So, how'd I do? Not the most in-depth description, but I think I at least got the point across for the most part. I hope you enjoyed this little motion comic as well. That took some time to put together. Please feel free to comment and like this video as you so wish, and suggest to me future endeavors, both artistic and conversational. Come back next week for a personal favorite subject of mine: how does your favorite anime character stack up? Literally. Until then, ciao!